Girls Will Be Boys is a really great episode of Full House. This is the 24th episode of the 5th season. It's directed by Joel Zwick, and as always there will be spoilers from now as we go through the episode and share some thoughts. And we have an adorable intro where Danny is trying to teach Michelle how to eat spaghetti or paschetti, and it looks like a very fun scene to film. Michelle got very, very messy, and it made me very hungry for spaghetti. There are two parts to the narrative. One's very brief, so I'll talk about that first. It involves DJ and Stephanie, and then I'll talk about the main narrative, which focuses on Michelle. Stephanie picks up the phone when DJ is on the phone to Kimmy, and she listens into the conversation, but DJ sees that Stephanie is listening in, so she tells Kimmy that she's going to come up with the ultimate revenge for Stephanie. Of course, Stephanie hears this, and every time DJ approaches Stephanie, Stephanie jumps, she screams. It's an absolute delight. And she tries to give her a brownie, but Stephanie thinks it's poisoned. I loved her performance there. Jodie Sweetin's always absolutely fantastic. But that moment, there was something about the moment where she threw the brownie away and pointed at DJ. It was just very, very well done. And ultimately, DJ does tell Stephanie that it was just a trick. She doesn't carry it on for too long, which I think was thoughtful, because she could have done. She could have easily extended it. And I thought it was a nice lesson in not eavesdropping. I liked that part of the narrative. The main part focuses on Michelle. And Aaron, one of Michelle's friends, and I put it in air quotes, initially doesn't want to play with Michelle because he doesn't want to play with girls. But Teddy says that Michelle actually has some really cool things at her house. So Aaron agrees to go over, and Aaron and Teddy are playing. Michelle's kind of on the sidelines. They're playing superheroes, and she has to be Superman's mother. They're playing wrestlers, and Michelle realizes that she's going to have to be the wrestler's mother. I have to say the kids gave really great performances. They're absolutely adorable and very, very convincing performances. Absolutely loved it. And Michelle suggests they play house instead, and Teddy loves playing house. But Aaron says it's for girls. So immediately, Teddy doesn't want to play house anymore. And that feels very realistic. The way a child can be instantly influenced by another child, it's at such a young age, is so real, and something that I feel like every child goes through at one point. Well, depending on which child you are. Are you being influenced, or are you the influencer? But I can understand Teddy instantly switching his opinion because he doesn't want to be made fun of. And Aaron's told him it's for girls, and Teddy doesn't want to be called a girl because obviously when you're very young, girls don't like boys and boys don't like girls. So very, very believable situation here. And Aaron said to Teddy, if you play with her, I'll tell the whole school that you're a girl lover. And again, Teddy doesn't really want to be associated with girls in that way. So he has well, I guess he does have a choice, but in this situation, he feels like he doesn't have a choice but to leave with Aaron. And Michelle goes downstairs and she asks Jessie and Joey about what makes boys and girls different. It just so happens that at that moment, Jessie is practicing to be Lumberjack Jess. And he's going to be performing this character on Ranger Joe. And he does this demonstration of how to be a man. And it's very cliche, very stereotypical, but it's done in a way where it's kind of a bit tongue-in-cheek, and I think it worked very well. And Michelle paid attention to some of this demonstration. And a little while later, the boys come over for a big surprise. And Michelle comes downstairs. I don't want to say the phrase acting like a boy, because what does that even mean? But she comes down the stairs, I guess, dressed stereotypically like a boy. She's in that little leather jacket she sometimes wears, and she's got this toy gun, and she's being a bit more stereotypically boyish. And the performance was great, and the boys love it, and they go running up the stairs. And Danny has to have a talk with her about this, and it's a really lovely situation, a very lovely, well-delivered speech. And Michelle really listens to it, which I like. And then she's watching Ranger Joe with the boys, and also Denise. She meets a new friend called Denise, and for a moment, it's boys against girls. But then Michelle and Denise are going to play together afterwards, and Teddy wants to play too. And Aaron asks him, are you a girl lover? And Teddy, I love, he said in that moment, yes, see ya. And I just absolutely loved it. Well done, Teddy. But what I loved more is that Aaron immediately said, can I come too? All it took was a leader. All it needed was one person, in this case Teddy, to stand up and say, it doesn't matter if you think this makes me a girl lover. It doesn't matter if boys rule, girls drool, as the chant often goes. I'm still going to play with Michelle and now Denise. And the fact that he was standing his ground there and not fazed, not bothered at all. Aaron realised that actually it's better to play with girls than to be left out. And Teddy was leading there by example, and I thought that was just really lovely and really beautiful, and I rather enjoyed it a lot. So, needless to say, Girls Will Be Boys is a brilliant episode of Full House. I don't know if I have any personal highlights. I think just the whole thing from start to finish was absolutely fantastic. I think they did a great job with the narrative. Definitely very funny, but also very thought-provoking. I think it might be one of my favourites. I don't know if I would have said that when I sat down to watch it. I've seen it before, of course. But watching it now, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Very, very solid episode. Girls Will Be Boys is an absolutely fantastic episode of Full House.